see me rolling.
They hating, patrolling, trying to catch me riding dirty. Catch me riding dirty.
Oh, that's instead of the what is that? What's that thing called?
My little jingle.
Yeah,
That's the jingle.
that's the jingle.
So I left my my stylophone at home today because I took it to New Orleans with me. So
Yeah, so if
we
you're
don't
wondering
get the-
why you can hear everything well this episode, it's because Joe didn't blow your eardrums out to start out with. So we'll apologize. We'll do it extra loud next time.
Oh no, I'm gonna put it in the edit.
So you've already heard it.
Hope you liked it.
Patrolling.
Welcome to #SetLife. Today we have with us Kayden Bryce, an actress, and she is going to spend some time with us chit-chatting a little bit about life on set. I am Bradford, your host, with our co-host Joseph,
Yes, sir.
and we are ready to go. So,
Let's do it.
I want to know a little bit about what is your relationships with movies? How did it really start for you? Like, were you a fan of watching movies growing up? What kind of led you towards?
Okay, long story short, because I could go on.
We got
But
time.
yeah, that's true. But we're gonna stretch it out anyway. So I'm just gonna start with long story short. I was doing theater, and I liked doing theater. But it wasn't anything that I ever thought I want to try and do this as a job maybe. It was just fun. And then while I was in a production, one of the moms of one of the girls in the theater, kind of asked me if I wanted to get into film by doing a short film.
Okay.
And so that kind of just built up, and I kept auditioning for more roles and everything, and then I just stuck to film. I stopped doing theater.
Yeah.
How old were you when that happened?
When I started doing film or acting in films, I was 13.
And when did you start acting on stage?
I was a baby.
Really?
I was really little. I was doing dance.
Okay.
Ever since I could walk.
Okay. What type of dance?
Ballet, jazz, tap. I never
same
did
as Brad
lyrical.
here.
I never got to it.
Never got to lyrical.
Hip hop.
They didn't let me do lyrical. They didn't call it hip hop. They just called it jazz and then blended the two. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Interesting.
Me personally wouldn't even be able to define to you the difference between the two.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you. I just remembered they're do all of them.
Yep. Do this.
Great.
Chasse
And then I was
left.
I actually
chasse
don't
right.
like this. So.
Right, but I loved the audience and I loved the excitement you get from the performing itself.
Yeah.
I just definitely didn't want to dance.
No, yeah. It was fun for the time being.
Right.
But I did that, so I was dancing for a little bit, and then my brother was doing theater.
Okay.
And so I don't remember how old I was, honestly, but I had to be
Alfie was doing theater already,
Yeah.
and when you were dancing, so
yeah.
it's just
So
a
I was
natural-
he was doing Shakespeare. I remember it was
Interesting.
I don't even remember. It might have been Macbeth.
Okay.
How old was he?
Dude, he was little.
Elementary school Shakespeare.
Because he's 3 years older than I am, so if I was 7.
Right. Yeah, that's
And
young for
10.
Shakespeare.
Yeah, 10
Yeah.
years old
It's
Shakespeare.
hard for me
I mean,
today
that's about when I
handle
started
Shakespeare.
reading Shakespeare,
Yeah.
but that's me. And I was I did that on my own.
Yeah.
I wasn't exposed to it through my parents or anything. But 10 is when I also personally started doing theater through community theater.
That's what it was. It was
Right.
kids'
Okay.
youth theater.
Yeah,
Community
but we
theater.
definitely were not doing Shakespeare.
Though it
How
was
many-
crazy. It was really cool, honestly.
How many theater productions did you do? Did you do any
I did a
while
lot.
you were
I mean, not a lot.
acting for
but-
film? Was it a congruent thing, or did you kind of stop theater and start looking towards film?
I think it was I did my last play, and then I booked a film
Pieced out.
job, and I was like, all right, I'm wrapping this up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was
much
just
effort goes
different.
into the theater, and it's worth it. It's a beautiful experience. But yeah, film is so visceral and so right now and so
Yeah. Also.
done and over that
Yeah.
it's that instant gratification that society is now so used to. So
Yeah.
As a performer, did you what was the experience like transitioning from your audience being not only visible but further back to then a performance with a camera 3 feet from your face and
Yeah.
10 people staring at you while you did that?
I liked it so much more.
Really?
which is interesting because I know like when you do theater, like everyone's like, oh, like the audience's reactions and everything, like that's what like fuels you and it
Yeah, but it
energizes you and
takes
everything.
so long to get there.
Yeah, I
It
didn't like
really
the process.
does. Yeah.
Which it's a really fun process. Like meeting the cast and like I feel like you build more of like a family
Yeah.
with
In
your
the theater,
castmates.
definitely,
Yeah.
yes.
In theater, yeah, because when you do a film, like you're like, oh
You're in and
hi, like
out.
nice to
Yeah,
meet you, like let's film
right.
a scene.
You better
Alright,
already be
I'll
in
see
your
you maybe at the
character.
premiere.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, and
sometimes.
there still is a family, like it's
There is.
clearly more temporary.
And
Yeah.
it's a
And
different
you
set.
can
yeah.
feel that. Like day
different
one,
sense of
day
family.
one is a whole bunch of strangers outside of like this is a small community here in Michigan, so there's a high likelihood that you're going to know somebody on
course.
set, right?
Yeah.
But outside of that, largely you're all strangers in a pond, and by day three, it's there's just like
A whole different
everything
dynamic.
is starting
Everything's
to
starting
by
to
the end
merge
of
together,
week two, it's like, oh man, I can't believe this is almost
Right,
over.
I miss you guys.
But in theater, 2 weeks is nothing.
No, they're just getting started.
Right.
They're
But
still
the-
doing their like meeting everyone
Yeah,
warm
and-
ups,
Yeah.
the circle.
Yeah, but in theater, maybe they're meeting 2-3 times a week tops.
Right,
And,
it's
and with
a
film,
lot.
you're
Every
head over
day.
heels plunged in.
Yeah, 12
Yeah.
Stuck
hours.
in these small
Sometimes-
places with people and
Most of the times, you don't even like get to rehearse your scenes.
Right.
right. A lot
before
of
you
times
get
you're
on
the
there.
set.
And okay, so that brings us to a thing that we are very adamant about
Yeah.
here at #SethLife, which is block, light, shoot.
Yeah, block, light, shoot.
Which would marry a little bit of the theater in with the film, but
I mean, that's where I learned blocking. I learned
of
blocking in
course.
theater.
Yeah, same.
Right? So,
But there's so much like when directors are trying to get the proper emotion out of the actor, the emotion, the emoting. That's one stage of it, but like knowing where to be and how to sell that,
Right.
what position to be in because of where the camera is and how the lighting is affecting that and everything. Taking the time to do that before rolling, before costume, before makeup, so that everybody can be on the same page, not just the actors and the director or the art department and the lighting, but camera and everybody cohesively
right. So,
doing that.
from a strictly acting perspective regarding the blocking, how often before cameras rolling, before you are performing, how often are you given that opportunity to walk the scene?
How much of a walkthrough? Because I feel like
so this, and I just recently finished another project, and it was a situation that I run into often where I ask the directors to block it out. I want the scene blocked so that
And it should be a walkthrough of the whole scene, not word for word dialogue,
I'm getting
but
there.
movement for
I'm getting
movement.
there.
yeah,
let me elaborate my point here.
All right. So
I asked the directors to do a blocking, and we know that is for the camera team and for the G&E team, but most importantly, it's for the actors. So oftentimes when I ask for blocking, I get someone holding a script and then reading the script out loud to me. Well, we've all read the script.
Right.
As an actor, you know your lines, you're coming in. What you need to know is at what point do I cross frame? At what point do I sit down? It says here I have to grab a phone, or if there is no action in the script for you, what is my stage movement? What
yeah,
what am I
because you have to be doing something.
what am I busying myself with, right?
Yeah,
Right, precisely,
People
like-
are gonna get bored.
Well, like in
if
the
you're not doing
agency,
anything.
when we all worked on that show together, that should hopefully be out next year. The agency, an improv comedy show, sketch comedy show here in Detroit. Look for that. But regardless, the way the writers wrote it, like a lot of the scenes that I was in personally, there was a lot of action before there was my reaction or any dialogue. And I didn't have to ask anybody questions
Yeah.
about that. It was right there in black and white, in print. Now, if that wasn't clear enough to me, there were plenty of people there for me to talk to about it, and they made time to talk to me about it. But it was written clear enough for me to interpret it into a way that worked for the character.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Have you found yourself ever where you're in the middle of a take, and let's say it's a longer scene, right? Something that's not a half a page. We're talking page and a half. You know,
Yeah.
it's going on. But then you get towards the end, and you know what you're supposed to say, but all of a sudden you're not exactly like, shit. Wait a minute. Am
All
I
the
supposed
time.
to? Am I supposed to walk off? Am I supposed
Sometimes.
to? Those are the questions. Like that. That is what needs to be spelled out in blocking.
Yeah.
It needs to be all thought ahead. And if the director is just like, well, yeah, no, it's there. You have the script. Blah blah. They overlook that. It's a simple question,
and too
but it's
often,
not. It's
yeah.
not your decision to do that because they have to piece. They have to piece the film together. If you, as an actor, like, yeah, fuck it, no, I'm gonna go out the front door, but like you were supposed to go in the kitchen
Yeah,
because
and then they're like, why is she walking out the front door? It doesn't make
exactly.
sense,
So
the
like
storyline.
that all has to be orchestrated, and that's why blocking is so important because if you know what you're doing, you're not going to be inside your head while you're remembering the dialogue and then oh shit, what was I supposed to do? You know, we had an instance in this last film, and this is why it's so important. There was somebody who we had waited forever for set decking, and then we were rolling, and someone had said, wait a minute, we forgot this prop. So there was a whole thing where we needed to get the prop in there. There was a big deal made out of it, right?
Yeah.
And then we shoot these 2 scenes, and then we get to the exit because we shot it in pieces, and we're getting to the exit, and I'm watching them all leave, and I'm like,
Nobody
why is that
grabbed the
prop? Why is that prop still sitting on the floor? I was like, is it important? You know, you guys stopped everything, and like, oh my god, like, okay, see, this is why I asked you to block because the actors didn't know. They knew this scene. They knew that prop may have been important in the script. It's not like they're not familiar with what needed to be done, but in the moment, I wanted to get my performance right. I wanted to get this right, like.
That's hard, but
You
like
need to take
at
those
the same
questions out of
time-
the element,
But
out of the equation.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. I agree with you guys on that. But also, like, as an actor, like, the props aren't your responsibility, but if you're holding them, you, like, it's part of your character.
Right.
It's part of the storyline. So
Yes.
you should be asking
No
those
one
questions.
was actually
if you
holding
can.
it. It was in a previous scene thrown on the floor.
Okay.
And the
That's
only
different.
engagement after
to
this
be
whole
there.
interaction was that it was supposed to be grabbed because it's supposed to be with them the rest of the movie.
And they didn't grab it.
And they left
They
without
made sure
grabbing
they
it.
got it in
Nobody
there, but they
grabbed
didn't
it?
grab it.
Nobody.
Nope.
Right, because they established some opening blocking and then didn't get past a certain point, and everybody was just and see here,
That's
yeah.
the thing, too, that's
so
so
that's
hard
that's
with
where it
blocking.
is this is what he's talking about. Like you, as an actor, need to be so in the know of what needs to happen so that you're allowed to make choices of what can go on between what's necessary.
Yeah.
because that's
It's
where
kinda
you're
crazy.
performing.
Yeah.
Right. You need to hit your marks, not just like this is where the camera is
No,
going to be me for
exactly.
focus, but I need to have this in my hand. I need to.
You
like,
need all
for
the
lines
ingredients to
work.
make the cake,
Right.
and then you can frost it a little bit.
Yeah,
You know, add some
exactly.
sprinkles.
By the way,
some glitter.
Kayden brought some brownie cookies today,
Oh, yes,
and they
they're
were freaking
delicious.
phenomenal.
So good.
Definitely did not make them from a box.
Don't matter. They were delicious.
So delectable.
I did add in
yes.
Crispy
chocolate
on the
chunks,
outside.
though,
Oh
so,
yes, I tasted
you know.
the chocolate chunks.
I
Delicious.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
I
No,
wish I could
thank
give
you. I
everyone
appreciate
watching
it.
this a cookie, a
Hey,
chocolate chip cookie.
any other guests if you're listening
Oh, we like
for
baked goods.
reviews to see what you need to bring to
No,
the
they're
table?
Gonna be like, damn it, Kane went on. She brought cookies.
She set
Oh, I
a
gotta bring
precedent,
something.
and you all need to deliver.
No.
It doesn't have to be
No,
brownie
sorry.
cookies, but I like snacks.
So, Kayden, how do
a
you
treat.
choose your roles? Is there a process that you have? I know, like, we take what we can get and what's
Right,
available,
when
what's
times
out
are
there.
hard.
But I mean, like, ultimately, when a project is brought to you, or when you learn about a project,
Yes.
what are some of the things that you look for when deciding to accept a role?
Commercials I mostly always accept because commercials are cool. Just, you know,
Yeah, they're very
trying to be a working
relaxed, they
actor.
pay.
Like, exactly. Sometimes
well.
they take a while for pay, though. But
They
I
do.
mean,
Yeah, net
It's-
30,
it's-
net,
yeah.
or
60
more,
something.
or more.
Yeah. But as long as you get it, you know.
Yeah,
You-
but they're the most
always
reliable
get it.
most of the time.
Yeah.
At least, you can be like, oh, well, at least I know it's coming.
Right. Like, it's on the way.
It'll
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah.
Just has to
But,
go through red tape.
Right. I don't know. For roles like now, I guess like I don't really want to play a role that like doesn't really have a lot to do with the script. Like if it's kind of just, like she's just there. Like
Sure.
I want to play roles that like actually
Something that has a little
have
bit of meat or content to
Yeah.
it, somewhere you can make a difference of some
Notably
Yeah.
supporting the story so that you're going to
in
not
some
be lost
way,
in the
some way,
edit
or if they have like a really really good personality that like I haven't played before.
kind. Okay.
Like, that
Okay,
would be
nice.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something challenging out of your wheelhouse or just different for you.
Just different, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I just need to
Is there
try more
a
stuff.
favorite character type that you have portrayed, or any character type that you'd love to do?
So, I don't know what I want to play. I've been asked that question before.
Yeah.
And I really, like, thinking on it, I can't say a specific thing that I'd,
Okay,
like,
so
a
it was
person
it was
that
a
I'd wanna
two-part
be or
question. So
something
what
I'd wanna
you're
play.
answering is you're not sure what you would
what
want
character
to
I'd want to
portray.
play. My
So-
favorite character that I've played,
Yes.
probably the most fun that I had, being the character was definitely Riley on the
Okay.
agency. Because I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, you could
She
you
was
could
like,
definitely tell you had a lot of fun with
She was
that.
like a sarcastic, like side eye, like stoner intern
Yeah.
girl
Yeah.
that really just didn't care about anything.
But who was also kind of one step ahead of the
But like also like didn't
in a
say like
different
nobody
way.
knew, which I really liked about her. She was like she didn't want to tell anybody
Right.
because she didn't.
She was
want
no
anybody to
gloating, a little liked leaving things unspoken.
Yeah,
fit
she
you
was
well.
just a spy.
I mean,
She was just a spy.
your mom and her best gay buddy wrote that for you.
Yeah,
You know? That's why I fit
She's
Otis so
never
well. They wrote
done
that for
a-
me.
She's
Like,
never written a role like that, like for me before though. I think this was like the first project. I mean, I was
Yeah.
in A Holiday I Do. She did write that,
yeah.
but this was I think the first characters like that she took the people and she kind of like took
Thought
out
about the
bits of their
actor.
personality and then added it onto
Yeah,
them.
definitely.
I think that was a
and
lot of
it's-
fun.
Riley is not who you are, but
I hope not.
but a character, but a
little bit's
caricature.
okay.
It's like it was a really funny caricature of elements.
Exactly.
Of
It was
you.
like
So,
vamped
yeah.
up for everybody, I think, in little ways.
Brilliantly done too. I loved
Yeah.
I loved reading those scripts every time they came in. It
Yeah.
was a lot of fun, and I hope we get to make season 2. That would
Yeah.
be great.
Me too.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
super excited.
Oh yeah. So let me see. So that was about choosing your roles. Joe, do you have any questions? While I think of something here.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so one of the roles that you were in where we first met, and you were younger, was originally called the Millionaires Club. Dan Carey's first project. Was what did it end up being called?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
If Nothing Changes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
If Nothing
That's the
Changes.
one.
And you played the younger sister, and there was this. So this is kind of I thought of it when Brad was talking about like longer scenes and stuff, and there was this oneer that it started off in the bedroom and then like kind of followed you out through, and then like the
That was a
ambulance arrived and
long
the parents
thing.
arrived. Yeah, it was like an 8-minute scene.
Yeah,
and
was
it took us
crazy. Like,
probably
we just
6
wanna go
hours to
through the whole
do.
thing.
Wow.
And so how did you feel about that? Like going through that process at such a young age? And I mean, you had obviously been in acting for a while, but you were what, 16, 17 at this?
Yeah,
This
I
was
think I
years
was
ago.
17.
Right, yeah. So
Yeah.
how was that? Because for me as a gaffer, it was
like,
trying because
the scene,
every take I
like,
had to make
itself?
lighting adjustments because in the budget we really didn't have time to properly.
Yeah.
So how did that scene itself? Not the
was-
project, but yeah, just that scene.
that scene, I mean, that scene
was
was
emotional,
tiring because it was like a drug overdose type
Okay.
of scene. So I think like physically it was just draining, like just doing it over and over again.
So like
and
she
Dan
had
was carrying
seen
me,
her brother
so that was kind of like
overdose, so then
uncomfortable
she
for us 'cause
overdoses, and he
it was a lot
tries
of
to
takes.
rescue her. The parents come home, which is and you were almost catatonic the whole time.
Yeah,
but that still
yeah.
had to be
I was, like,
very
spitting.
trying.
I was like,
yeah.
It's really cute.
You did a great job, but it
Thank
was
you.
just so. It was involved.
Yeah.
Like the amount of space we had to do for this. The house was not at the best
Mm-hmm.
house to be shooting that scene in.
I mean,
There was
all I have
nowhere
to
for
say
anybody
is
to hide.
anything in the film industry, like if you're thinking about it, it's not for the weak.
Agreed.
Like you really have to want to do it.
Yeah, and
be
if
passionate
you love,
about
and
it
if you love
because-
it,
It's okay.
You're playing every day. You're not really at work.
Exactly.
But it is not for the faint of heart.
No,
I've
it's
seen
tiring.
people cry. I've seen people
I've
break.
Yeah.
I've cried too.
Almost. I've cried on sets, I'm pretty sure, but
I 100%
you know,
have.
you keep going because
100% have.
the days can get really long. So like having
And there's
a
a
good
lot of
crew
different ways
just
that your
makes
energy can be drained.
a difference. Yeah.
You know, it
Even,
can be
like-
from overexertion. It could be from sitting. You can just lose all energy and motivation. So it's a job where your will and testament has to be there.
100%. It's a collaborative art. So it's
Yeah.
all those different people, all those personalities have to come together. And sometimes yours rubs wrongs with someone, even if it's just one person. Everybody else doesn't even notice it, but it just drains your spirit that day. You know?
Yeah. I always try and keep a smile on set when I can.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Just helps a little
I do my
bit.
best as well.
I have a pretty strong center of Zen, and I just try to, and it doesn't
I
always
feel it.
work because when I waver, but you'll know. But
Same.
I try to be
Same.
this calm center that no matter what you come to me with, I'm like, okay, well, here's what I think. Let's go look at it deeper, and I just try to be this center of calmness so that if people are freaking out around me,
Yeah,
they're
you
like,
can
well,
pull 'em back in a
Joe's
little
gonna, yeah,
bit.
Joe's gonna get us back on sale, and I
Yeah.
try to do that, but. Let me tell you, when I come home, there's a lot of stories. I was like, so today I
oh
freaked
my
the fuck out.
gosh, the stories that I have from I need
Nobody
to
on
rant to somebody
set
sometimes.
would know I freaked out because
Yeah.
in my head I'm going, "What?" But I'm
Yeah.
like, okay,
You're like,
I'm trying to be that center.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
definitely important, and I'm sure this goes for many different careers, many different jobs and experiences. But to be able to have someone to vent to,
Oh yeah, Brad and I pull each
gosh.
other aside so much, like,
Yeah.
okay, Woosa.
because what I think
Wooslaba.
I think the important is like the difference between like just venting, which is borderline complaining, or straight on complaining. But the difference is it's a matter of like something you've coped with and already facilitated through, but now you just need to
you just
like
want to get it off your chest.
yeah, you're building a little bit of a boil, and you want to let some of that steam out, and
Clear
you just,
your head again so you can
For the
keep that
next
cool.
day.
Yeah, exactly.
Or just the
Yeah.
next scene.
Right, you just need a little mind dump. You know, just
Exactly.
a little full in there.
Exactly.
But I love being on set, and it's like my favorite place ever. So
It's
Right, you take
I'm
the good with the
addicted.
bad.
what can I say?
I'm addicted to it.
So
yeah, set rush.
you've accepted a role.
Yay.
What is like what goes through your head at first? Like, what's your process for preparing for a role?
Like, what step? Like
Well,
right
you don't-
after I get it?
Yeah,
or,
I mean,
like,
you
when
don't
I'm, like,
necessarily
working
have to
up
like, yeah, not
filming it?
necessarily step by step, but like, you know, you've probably read if you've accepted the role, you've probably read the script already, so it's
Yeah.
not your first time. But now it's like, okay, this is going to be a thing. What do you do to like? Is there a process you have for finding a character, or how you're going to go about delivering it, or are there anything that goes through your mind that maybe is not on the script? Is there just like what headspace are you in when you're considering
Yeah.
becoming a character?
I think backstory is like really important, if not like one of the most important things for like becoming a character
To
and
understand
thinking
your
about
motivation
their
in a
whole
moment,
life.
yeah.
You know, like you have to think about I'm this character today, and I was this character from the day that they were born. What's their like story, like
Yeah,
their
100%.
lifeline? How does that play out? So that I think about that a lot. After I've highlighted the script, for actually memorizing, I'll record my lines.
Oh,
And that
okay.
helps too, because honestly, hearing my own voice, I repeat it and I can think of different ways of saying it.
Different
Yeah.
And
inflections.
it just
and-
helps me get in the flow of
and
it.
sometimes
a
the
little bit
line doesn't come off your tongue right the first time
more.
you
Yeah,
say
and I
it.
hear it and I was
have
like,
to get used
oh,
to
like I
it.
can put a little bit of an emphasis on that word.
When
or I
you
can
say you
stretch that word
record it,
out.
do you like just take one seat and like just read your lines and then listen to it like sequentially and just kind of ruminate over it?
Yeah, so if I'm like just freshly learning my lines and it's recorded, I'll just record all of my lines.
Interesting.
I'll usually start from like the first scene that I have, and I'll learn that scene, and then I'll go on to the next, and I'll repeat the first scene, and then I'll do the second scene, and I'll just kind of
Very
keep
cool.
going.
Oh, you like stack. You like keep repeating the
Yeah,
process. And
for what scenes I know that I'm filming, I don't memorize a whole movie.
Right,
You know?
Yeah. Oh, so for the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I had enough of that with doing plays. That was too many lines to
Yeah.
be memorizing.
It's
That's understandable.
yeah, it's overwhelming. That's for sure.
Yeah. So that, and then also, like, I don't know, for my character, I'll just try and, like, sit in their headspace. I'll journal.
Okay.
Like it's their journal.
Oh, yeah, no.
I've heard
down.
some actors
So it's
will
kind
like
of just
listen
trying
to
to get in
music
character.
that they think the character might listen to. Do you ever
Definitely.
explore that?
Yeah, I'll do, like, definitely, like, different genres and different artists. I'll just put, like, one person on, usually, like, their station.
Sure.
But, you know, in my room, whatever,
Yeah.
I'll do stuff like that.
Okay.
Very cool.
So, I think that's the main things that I do for getting into characters. I don't, like, dress like them or anything.
No,
Going
yeah.
to the shoot, I don't have
You're
any
not in
rituals
the
that I do.
method
Not that
of
far.
acting.
No, not
For
yet.
me, I like to, when I know I'm like, okay, here's what you're going to be, they send it to me, I like to read them through enough to where I can recite them off my head. And then I don't look at them again until I'm on set for the day.
Oh.
And then I will remember them for the day. And I take 20 to 30 minutes first thing when I get there to just pound it into
It's
my
like
own
pressure.
head. And then I look for opportunities to rehearse with whoever I'm in the scene with.
Right.
And if I get any, great. If I don't, I know I'm still prepared, right? And I'm very much a character actor. So when they say action, I flip a switch and I go to where I'm mentally prepared. Like, this is
Yeah.
that guy. This is, and I definitely, it's not like an out-of-body experience, but it's an out-of-me experience. Like, I'm
sure.
definitely not being myself. I'm not doing
No.
anything that I would do. I'm not reacting in a way I would react.
Yeah.
Because when practicing these lines, I'm consciously making decisions of, this guy's saying this because of this. And so I become a little bit that person. I wouldn't call it method. Definitely
No,
character.
but definitely, like, I feel that. Like, if you're doing a scene and they're like, okay, like, reset, and, like, not even if they reset right away, but, like, I don't usually break character.
No.
If we're doing the
Not
scene
until
again, I
I'm-
don't look at people
Not
or
until
talk
that
to them
scene
or
is done.
anything.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
You must
very
stay in
much
that mind
not unless
space.
it's
Yeah.
not unless it's somebody I'm acting with asking me a question about motivation or
Yeah,
trying to help
yeah.
them staying the scene. Then I can do that as in character almost. You know what I mean? I don't have to leave that mindset to answer that question because it's in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
So I had to start typing this down. I was going to forget it.
You're good.
In your experience, how often are you familiar with your scene partners before you get on set?
Not very often.
Yeah, and
No.
you've been on a range of set styles, right? So
Yeah,
you've got a breadth of
got
experience as far as
variety pack.
the type of sets that you've been on and
Yeah.
how things work. So is there generally and if not, is it something you would prefer? Like, would you prefer like a phone call or a FaceTime with so let's say it's a film and it's you and two buddies and a good portion of the film is around your relationship. Would you find it beneficial, or do you find that it's been taken away from you? Like, what are the pros and cons to like trying to be friends with each other on day
Yeah.
one versus week minus one, where you have a chance to talk, or at least new relationships of any kind are always like they start awkward, right?
Yeah.
So
A little tenuous, yeah.
yeah, so like if it hasn't been often, how do you break through that to get comfortable with your scene partners?
I mean, I feel like most of the time, most of the sets that I've been on, like, we don't usually have Zoom rehearsals or calls or anything before filming. We
Not
just-
a lot of table reads.
No, I haven't done a table read in a really long time.
Really?
Honestly.
Very few and far between for me as well. Even
Yeah.
just from the crew standpoint, even hearing about it, because I always like
Yeah.
to ask the crew, like, oh, what did you guys do with the table read? Well, we had no table read. I'm like, oh,
They're getting less popular, for sure.
I don't understand it.
Yeah. But, I don't know. I just try and be, like, as friendly as I can, as soon as I can, to, like, make it not awkward. Because, like, you're already strangers. If you want to act like a stranger and like be shy and weird, like it's just gonna make it harder
Yeah.
to like connect in the scene.
You got to
Like,
come in like
Yeah.
full acting mode right off
exactly,
the
like
bat.
ready to work.
Right.
Yeah. But I did notice, like, I want to say it would be easier if we had, like, a Zoom or, like, a call or something beforehand, like, for meeting people. But honestly, like, I shot a horror movie, a werewolf movie in Ohio.
Nice.
Called Bite. Byte.
Ah, okay.
Dropping soon, right?
Dropping soon, hopefully soon. Somewhere. I'm not sure yet.
You never know where.
You never
Yeah.
know. It's such a fun surprise. But, like, my like best friend in it, we didn't meet, and we did a FaceTime, and the FaceTime call was kind of awkward, and we were both kind of shy. But when we got on set and we were in person together, like right away, it was like bam,
Oh,
like we had an
okay.
instant like friendship connection.
Even though the meeting was awkward, you had that recognition once you were.
That's true.
And you
on
got
set
the awkward
together.
shit out of the way right
That's true. So maybe the Zoom call did help.
away. Interesting.
Yeah.
One of the performances I can think of off the top of my head that I've seen you in was the short, is it Trail of Dark Matter? The one in the laundromat.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a series.
Right, but that's correct, right? Trail
Trail of Dark Matter, yes.
And in that
On
one,
Amazon, yeah.
it was if I remember the episode correctly, it's just you and one other actress, right? There was
Yep.
no one, and
For that
I
episode,
can't
yeah.
remember her name because we shot her a really long time ago, but she was really sweet. She
so
really nice.
was that a first time meeting
Yeah.
with that?
Yeah.
because that
The
that
night
was
we got
remarkable.
there, it was a night shoot.
And
Thank you.
What played that so well is that it is a first encounter chance meeting.
And it is-
and that,
right.
that awkwardness and charisma all comes out and is made in that scene. And that was so fun to film. It really was, because you guys were just so naturalistic, and the lighting was
Lighting was
powerful, but it was,
amazing.
I had to be subtle,
Yeah, it
but
was very
present,
subtle.
and I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
That was a struggle. I'm not gonna lie, learning those lines.
so many lines.
Yeah, so for that,
Very dialogue
is a little
heavy, like
secret.
straight monologue
Yeah, this is a
after
little-
monologue
Yeah.
upon monologue.
the whole thing
In the middle of a
We didn't
monologue.
cut. It was like 20 pages, and we just did it in one take. I feel like for a lot of those takes.
It was definitely we did
was
we
wild.
did
It was a
huge
lot.
like 5 minute to 10 minute oneers of every angle,
Yeah,
just going through.
yeah.
So I know why.
If they messed up, they would just go back in line, pick it up, go, and
Yeah,
we would,
that one was a lot to learn because, yeah.
When you're
we learned
shooting
all
like
of
that,
it.
like I know why the production team does stuff like that. What does that do to your performance when you have that task ahead of you?
It honestly, I feel like it makes it better, but it's not better until like the 5th take, which sucks.
You
Right.
really have
Because
to
it's
go
like I
through
didn't have
that,
all those rehearsal
immersed
times.
in it,
Yeah.
and then you become part of it.
Yeah, and you
then
repeat it so much.
Yeah, and
that at
that's
the end
and
you're like,
it worked really well, because we had like all these different wides, and that's that 5 or 6 takes that it took them to really get into it, and now we're moving in, and it really just immersed you into the.
So when the budget and the
As
time,
a lighting technician, I felt that
Yeah.
on the set. It was palpable.
when the budget and time allots for it, that's what you do. You would do a rehearsal for half a day on the set,
Yeah.
and while you're doing that, they're rehearsing dolly pushes and adjusting the lenses and the lights, and then by the time you're burning film, like you've had that preparation. But I imagine knowing in the back of your mind that for all intents and purposes, right now,
Oh, excuse me. Jesus.
this
That came
ro-
out of nowhere. I'm so sorry.
we're recording this role because we intend to use it, right? Regardless of whether or not we do another, every take you intend to
right,
use.
you're like, this is the
There's
take.
still something going on in your mind that's different from a rehearsal.
Yeah, it's
where-
growing. You're calculating. Your brain's like making this more natural. Like,
Right.
how do I?
Right.
Yeah, it's tuning up.
You
the
can
performance.
really feel it in that episode. I like that series. I think the only thing I would change is the order he released them, but I don't know. It's his creation. Obviously, he did it the way he intended.
Sure.
And I like how it came out, but there was some things that would have changed.
Are there any actors that you would love to work with?
Zendaya. I don't know.
Just want to be on the map, people.
Yeah, I won't be any for you. No, I'm just kidding.
Are there
That
any
was a good
actors
show.
that
I know.
whose style or career you find yourself watching to see the choices they make or how they approach things, or is there a number of things? Like how do you get inspired?
That's a really good question, because I feel like I have a lot of actors and like actresses that I really admire and like and look up to, but I don't really like follow them
Okay.
that closely.
You appreciate
I probably
them,
should.
but you don't
It's
emulate them.
disrespectful. Yeah.
Is it disrespectful? What's disrespectful
I don't know.
about it?
I'm just like, just doing my thing.
You
and-
just
Yeah, but I'm really bad with actors' names too, so that really doesn't help.
okay.
Oh, yeah, we're
But-
horrible with it.
Yeah. You guys are listing off like 50 different names per
Yeah.
minute.
Google, hello.
Yeah. Oh yeah, cheaters.
Yeah, but that's really bad, but I can't think of anything else.
No, that's fine. No pressure. No pressure.
Yeah.
No, there's no actor you'd be
I'm
like,
just
oh, that'd be
happy
dope as
you
shit.
There's a lot
didn't
of
spout off
actors
like,
that I
oh, well,
like,
Meryl
though.
Streep's the Bae, and like,
Is
oh,
there
Kathy
any- I mean,
Bates is
she's
amazing. Oh, yes,
amazing.
they are, but you're not like.
But everybody knows they're amazing.
Worship
Like, I
these
don't need to
people.
list them
and-
again.
yeah.
Right.
I really liked Jennifer Lawrence for a long time.
She
I
is
can see
I
that.
amazing.
don't want to say liked. I liked.
Huge fan of
Yeah.
hers.
But I
yeah.
really like watched a lot of her stuff for a while.
Yeah, me
I
too.
really
She's a
like
good one to
her.
watch because she's got so many different varieties to the roles that she's played.
Yeah.
And
I just watched a recent one with her as a
No Hard Feelings?
rom-com.
I want to
yes.
see it.
Yeah, I
So
wanted to see
good.
it.
Oh my
Watch
gosh.
it. Quite
Okay,
literally,
what's on
she
my
was like, I want an Oscar. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want. And this is the movie.
yeah.
As she should.
It's so good.
And that's what I love
She
about
beats
her.
the shit out of teenagers naked on a beach. Like,
Oh my
straight
gosh.
naked. Like,
It's-
it's gorgeous. Like,
Wow.
It's not about her being naked.
Yeah.
Comically, it's
It's
beautiful.
gold. That's why
it's
I like
just
her
gold.
so much, I think. 'Cause
That's
she's
what I was
so
gonna say.
funny.
Fearless.
Fearless, true. That one first. And funny.
Yes.
And she can also play serious roles. Like,
Yes.
Silver
that's what I
Linings
really,
Playbook
like, idolize.
touched my
'Cause
soul.
It's like, oh my God, I cried.
Yeah.
So that one's good. Joy is a
Joy's
huge,
amazing.
great,
Yes.
too.
huge.
Yes.
Like she
She
had this
makes-
run with Hunger
she makes
Games.
wonderful
like,
choices.
She's
Yeah.
the hottie
Passengers,
hottie.
I
boom.
mentioned on our last episode. I'm so excited.
Mm-hmm.
Passengers
see- I
with
think
her and
it's
Chris
called-
Pratt, so good. She just makes really good choices in her career. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she wants,
Mm-hmm.
and she's not afraid to take the risk. And that's what performing
Exactly.
is taking that and just running with it, throwing caution to the wind, and being that other person. And I love every time she does it.
Trying to look up that one movie I liked. Oh yeah, Red Sparrow.
I was
Oh,
just
so
about
good.
to
I
say
just-
that. When you said Fearless, I listened to the whole thing about
Dude.
when she talked about if she was going to go nude for the movie or not.
And you know what? And after
I
that
love
scene,
that movie.
after that scene,
I
it's
saw it
it's one of those
theaters.
decisions where it's like, yeah, that was important because it wasn't a nudity was important to the embarrassment of that scene.
Exactly.
It wasn't about the
needed to be
nudity.
there. It
It was
wasn't just
about
like,
the
oh, we're going to throw in a
character.
random sex scene. 'cause,
Right.
You know, we
No,
can't.
it
Just
wasn't like
'cause.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
which
she wouldn't have done that.
Right.
Which is, you know.
In the comedy, that's kind of how they did it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's make her naked. That'll be funny. Like
Right.
it was gratuitous, but it was
Yeah. But it's a
still
comedy.
it worked.
Right.
But this is it's not what they did in Red Sparrow. It was for a fully different and yeah, if it's
Different
for the
vibe.
role, yeah, she just
And it fit perfectly.
in
the
Red Sparrow
storyline
actually
of the
like
movie.
my wife and I watched that when it first came out, but so good. Like we watched it again on our anniversary trip to New Orleans. Like we were not watching movies, but we saw that and we were like, okay, yeah. We
Watched
took
the whole
yeah,
thing.
we just took a nice long lunch, watched half of it. Well, let's go out for partying. We came back after and watched it. Fell asleep. It was such a good movie.
really
It's
fun.
long, but
Yeah.
it's so good. Doesn't feel as long as it is.
Right.
It really doesn't. But yeah, we came
yeah,
home
I
for
agree
like
with that.
came home for like a mid-afternoon nap, watched like I want to say 45 minutes of it, and we both kind of
Yeah,
fell
'cause I think
asleep,
it's
and
like
then we
2
restarted
and a
it
half
where we fell
hours.
asleep
It's,
at the end of the night. Yeah, well, everything's 2.5 hours now.
All of
'cause
them.
Everybody wants to be deer hunter, you know. But
Yeah, but
quickly, I don't
definitely
see
Jennifer Lawrence. Oh my gosh, what is the woman that plays Tammy?
in the movie Tammy.
yeah.
Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy.
McCarthy
so
is
funny.
amazing.
She's
I
another
love
one who
her.
likes to take different, like, okay, I know what people would expect me to do, so I'm going to try something different with
Yes.
her performance
Yes.
choices, and
She's
I love that.
She's just so
Terrific.
real. Like,
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
acting.
There's nothing I've seen her in that I'm like, they could have got
That I
somebody
didn't-
better.
exactly.
No, never. Like she finds that role. She's like Bridesmaids.
Oh
She
my
was the
gosh,
one. She
killed
needed
it.
to be the over the top, the one who shits in the sink. Like,
Yeah.
just perfect.
Takes the
Like,
dogs.
just everything.
Yeah.
She had like 9 puppies or something from the wedding. The wedding
Yeah.
party.
This is all- does anybody else want one of these? Because I took like all of them. She's good in everything. Thunder Force was ridiculous.
Oh my god,
but
I
it
forgot
was
about that movie.
So good because she is just it's her. I just recently watched Identity Theft because I'm a big Jason Bateman fan, and
What
I'm
did you
a
think of
Melissa
it?
McCarthy fan too. And I waited a while because I'm not into like kind of stupid humor very much.
Was this your first watch, or did you say
It was my
rewatch?
first watch. This is my first watch. I'm not into the real stupid humor unless it has that intellect behind it. And this one delivered.
That was a good movie.
Because Jason Bateman and Melissa McCarthy are smart, funny, even when they're stupid.
Yeah.
Just like, what was it, Due Date with Zach Galifianakis
Dude,
and
underrated
Robert Downey
movie.
Jr. So underrated.
Underrated movie.
Because the humor, while being like fart jokes
Yeah, but there
and
was so
frat
much
boy
more to
humor,
it.
has so much humanity in it. It's so intelligent behind the stupidity of the jokes. There's a realness there.
Yeah.
And that's what I look for in that kind of stupid comedy.
Would you ever want to do like an action role?
Yeah,
Like
actually,
with a Marvel type thing? Like would that
You
be
take 6 months at the dojo.
training.
Yeah.
I think that would be so freaking cool.
Right?
To like fly through the sky,
Hell
like
yeah.
up on the ropes
Right?
and be like, and just doing
Sign
like
me
backflips
up.
and stuff. I'm so down.
Hell yeah.
Cause yeah, that would be fun. Whoa.
That's all right. I've
Just
been doing it.
kicked
I've been
your
doing it a
whole
shit ton.
table. But if that opportunity,
So that wouldn't be
ever
something
arose,
that would yeah.
I
Because
think
I know
that'd be really
not
cool.
everyone would be that excited about it, and you know.
Yeah.
That's like the cool thing about acting is to do shit that you'd never, and for them like
Yes.
the idea watching someone
My
like
favorite part
Keanu
of acting
Reeves
is to do anything that I wouldn't do as a person.
Oh,
Right.
100%.
Like when I played the racist guy on Melanin, like they had all these people refuse to do this, and I actually rewrote the monologue and kind of stepped it up a notch. So I was like, well, this is the character, and I wrote the monologue as the character. Like step it up a notch, bring it to the table,
Yeah.
make it effective, touching. It needs to mean something.
Yeah.
Like this guy that I was playing was spewing hatred. You need to feel that. You need to
Yeah.
hate him for saying it.
Right.
If I didn't make you think I was despicable, I didn't do my job.
Right, if you watered it down.
Because that's what the character needed in that movie, in that point, to really push home this narrative.
Yeah.
And if whoever did it, granted it was me, but regardless, if you didn't do it enough, the audience isn't going to buy why this guy hates this person or why the society should hate this person.
Right.
So stepping outside myself was the fun of it. I got to play a caricature of people. I'm like, yeah, you're a piece of shit. Let me show you what I think of that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
'cause that's the fun in it, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting too because I've heard like actors say they don't want to take certain roles, like it's like too much away from them. But
They're
I'm-
worried about how the audience perceives them.
yeah, but I'm like, you just have to fully like just know like that's not you. It's acting.
Yeah. And
Precisely what I'm saying.
that is kind of what I was alluding to when we were talking about Jennifer Lawrence, because it's like, especially for I don't want to say especially for, because it can be for male and female, the idea of attractiveness and how attractive you are today compared to, because the idea of what we find attractive changes over times. Like
can
we
be
don't
based
have
in fashion,
we don't
hairstyles,
have Arnold Schwarzeneggers anymore. Like our big action heroes aren't the big,
Right.
because
No.
things, the perspective has changed.
Yeah, they're
little bit,
more
yeah.
normal
So-
people.
Thank you,
It's
Tom
like the
Cruise.
better-
With her taking roles that early on she was girlish and this and that, and then to be Joy, which was not, she wasn't playing older than herself, but she was playing washed out. Like the whole idea
Yeah.
of that character was not beauty, it was motherhood. And for her to be able to go out and go all in on that character without fear of like
Fearless,
people are just going to
yes.
forget that and then to be able to come back from that and just
Go
completely
right into a
regain it.
sexy role. Yeah, like she. Yeah.
Because
Nothing.
I think that's
No
important to
holds
be able to
barred.
explore all the different things of what I can be.
Yeah, that's the fun of it, and I think it's fun too because it's like I don't watch a lot of action movies or like Marvel movies or anything, but I would 1,000,000% want to do one.
Hell
So I think it's fun that
Hell
it's like
yeah.
I don't watch it that much, but like I can maybe create.
Yeah,
something that
absolutely.
Other people could watch and enjoy. That's the fun of movies.
And
too.
they'll make sure,
Yeah.
you know,
do
because
genres
you
that
go
you
through the training,
wouldn't
like the idea of
expect.
being able to spend a year and just learn shit. Like the fact that she got to learn how to, like today, I think it was in Hot
Archery,
Ones. It was a
yeah.
Hot One. She's like, yeah, I don't know, but I do go shoot bows still. I can shoot a fucking bow. And she's like half embarrassed about it, but why the fuck not? Like I would
That's
never,
cool.
I would never
Because it was
have this
something
skill
she
or
didn't do
hobby
before,
until
Yeah.
I
so
had
she feels
that role.
like a nerd because she fell in love with something that she was pretending to be, and now it's become part of her. So she
Right.
feels nerdy about it. And I get that, getting a little embarrassed, admitting to her followers that she's influenceable by her. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's taking it the right way, though. She doesn't want to admit that things influence. And what you were mentioning, people don't take roles worried about how their fandom will take it.
Right.
No, don't be worried about how your fandom will take you performing. If they don't understand that you're an actor, and then you don't need that fandom.
Right,
Granted,
exactly.
fame's a fickle bitch. You know,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
industry is definitely is just as fickle, if not more so,
Mm-hmm.
right? But at the same time, if you're not taking those risks, if you're not comfortable in going outside yourself, you probably picked the wrong goddamn profession.
Yeah.
Right.
Pardon my
You're
blasphemy.
gonna be embarrassed a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
doing
should
this.
not be
Yeah.
embarrassed. When I see actors, when the director's like, go harder, and they're like, I don't know how. I'm like,
Yeah.
bitch,
It's
like,
the inhibition is oozing off of you.
Yeah, it's
Lose
like
it.
amp it up
Yeah.
more than you think.
I want
if
to
they
see
need to tone it
how
down,
far
they can
you
tone it
can
down,
take
but
it. Exactly.
Don't keep making them
Don't
Yeah,
keep
see-
pushing it. Yeah.
tuning it up one.
If somebody says
you know,
turn it up, I want to see 11
10
first.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So
we'll
I've
go,
got
okay, how about
one
8?
last question for
Yeah,
you.
bring it down just a little bit. That was great though.
And I want to thank you for spending the time with us today. This
God,
has been
thanks
a lot
for
of fun.
having me.
When it comes to auditioning, is there an approach you have to that, or what are your thoughts on auditioning? I guess another question would be, any more today? Do you find yourself doing a lot of in-person auditions, or is a lot of it tape send-ins?
I've not done an in-person audition in a long
All
time.
self-tapes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Do you get provided sides, or do you have to choose something to send them?
I get provided sides. I rarely have to pick my own like monologue or anything. I really don't like doing that.
Yeah, I don't either.
I-
Like
Well,
the
because I don't
few
think
I've done.
I don't think like
They hand me like a scene. Here's this guy, brief 2-sentence explanation, and here's 3 lines in a scene.
That's
and I'm
true.
like, that's not enough for me to explain.
Yeah,
Like,
actually,
give me the whole
that's a
scene
good
at least,
point.
and let me do a part of
do
the
you
scene.
tend to get
Yeah.
character descriptions, or do you just get sides?
I get okay, so like the last
3
movie
sentences,
that
not
I
a character
auditioned.
description. is what
Yeah,
I'm
the
saying.
last movie that I got cast in, I don't know if I can announce it yet.
Yeah, we
It's
can
not
keep
announced
names
yet.
out. Yeah, we can keep names out.
But yeah, so I sent in the sides, or I got the sides for the audition, and then after I booked the part, and I read through the whole script, and I read through the scene where my sides were at, I was like, oh my god, like, I would have done it so different.
Right.
Because I didn't have the context of what was
Totally.
going on. I didn't even know where I was.
That's what happened
Yeah.
with one of
And
mine.
then-
That one with.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I would have changed it if I had the full script, and I feel like a lot of other actors might have done the same thing.
Right,
So-
so, now
So
you're
the directors
casting the
are
wrong
looking-
person because you're getting the wrong motivation from.
Yeah.
So from your perspective on set as an actor, you would like to see what provided to actors? What would be an ask of you that you would want these filmmakers to provide when you're looking for? Like, what would make your life better when you're considering a role like that?
Just like the important details.
Yeah.
Like just a little tiny breakdown
Okay.
of what's going on. Not too much to give away the story. Or
Right,
like,
because
I'm not
they're
gonna
trying
steal
to
it and
hold
write
on to
another movie.
exactly, which is a whole different like
But you know,
chill
it's
guy.
a little bit of trust.
because if you miss an opportunity that you could have been perfect for because a little bit of information was withheld,
Right,
who does that
or-
benefit?
Exactly. I don't know. It's hard too because most directors aren't gonna be like, we liked her, but we want her to tweak this. They're not gonna email
Right.
you back and be like, can you please do it over just a little bit? Some
Right.
do, but not
I
a
have
lot.
heard that but it is not often.
It's very rare.
It's not
So I
often.
just don't really like auditions at all.
At all. No one does. I mean, I don't know anyone who like loves it.
Self-tape, it don't matter.
How many auditions would you say, if you were just rough estimate, do you send out in like a year period? If someone were looking at pursuing acting,
lot.
yeah.
I don't know. I submit for like so many things, like a couple
So it's
projects
not
a week.
it's not countable.
Yeah, no, because you get so many auditions, and like I've said from like day one of acting, like submit and forget.
Yeah.
Because that's the only. If
That's
you
a
like
good piece of
hold on
advice.
and you keep waiting to get a job, you're never gonna be working.
Right.
You just
That's true.
keep auditioning until you get something, and then keep auditioning while you got that thing
Yeah,
too, because
just to
it's
keep
gonna be
stacking
up.
it up. And if you put that hope in, like I was really hoping, I'm still waiting to hear from. So
You can be bummed about it, but you gotta move on.
You got to move past it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which says send it and forget it.
Submit and forget.
Submit and forget. I fucking love that. High
Yep,
five on
thanks.
that one.
I
love
can't
that.
take credit. My mom came
well,
up
of
with that.
course,
the
she's
momager.
brilliant. She's
I'm gonna have
brilliant.
to try that.
Yeah.
Submit and forget. Well,
Yeah, because you might get, one or two, hopefully, out of the 10
And that's
auditions that you send
and that's
in.
just a
So you might
callback.
get one
You
out
know,
of-
Right,
there's
that's
still more
six
One
to
or
it.
rounds.
two out of 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Kayden,
just-
thank you so much for joining us today on
Such a
hashtag
pleasure.
Set
Yeah,
Life.
I had
It's
so
so
much
much
This was
fun,
a
you
lot of fun.
guys.
Glad you had fun. We had a great
I
time.
appreciate it.
talking with you.
Hopefully, you'll come back sometime and chat more movies with us, and,
Yeah.
and we'll discuss a little bit more about our weird lives on set.
This was super fun, and I'm going to have to find out how you guys liked rewatching 101 Dalmatians.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
absolutely.
you'll have to tune in when it comes up.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
And we'll have you back because this was good. This was a
Oh
good
yeah,
time.
absolutely.
Right, I'm gonna
So,
listen to stories.
thank you, everyone. You can email us with any suggestions for maybe questions that you want us to ask people who work in the film industry, or again, possibly what positions you'd like us to find people to come in and represent. You can email us at ufostudio.detroit@gmail.com.
That's right.
If you're looking to communicate with me directly, you can go to Instagram at Beeford Clark, and you can find Joe
On Instagram at chaotic artisan, the chaotic _artisan. Just type in Joseph Sheldon Quick. There's not a lot of us. There's a lot of Joe Quicks, so don't type that. But if you type Joseph Sheldon Quick, I'm pretty much the only motherfucker who pops
And if
up.
he's got a mohawk, you
I-
found the right guy.
Yeah, it's the Mohawk
And
guy.
then,
That's right.
yes.
I was going to say, can I say my Instagram?
You
too?
absolutely can.
Okay.
Put them all out there.
It's Kayden with a K. Kayden.Maya.
Kayden.Maya.
Yeah, so KAYDEN.MAIA.
There you
On
go.
the gram.
On the gram.
That's
Give
Kayden
her a
Bryce
follow.
everywhere
And
else.
again, look for A Holiday I Do. Very delightful
All inclusive when
Christmas.
it comes to diversity.
It's a Christmas rom-com, and I gotta tell you, I'm not a rom-com person like
Me either,
at
and I am
all.
not a Christmas movie person.
I fucking
and
love Christmas
this
movies.
was
I'm gonna force you to do
hilarious.
a
Oh,
Christmas
good.
discussion one day, but not
Only
this
Yeah,
year.
Christmas
we'll do a
movies.
Christmas episode.
But yeah, no, this movie put
Probably
me in
in
the
July.
This movie
There you
put
go.
me in the right season and the right mindset for the season, and I definitely highly recommend checking it out. It was very funny, and Kayden
It
was
is
wonderful.
very hard
Thank
for me to
you.
get put in the mood for the season, and for reasons I digress and will not go into.
Understandable.
But I agree with you. This movie, for someone who's hard to get in the Christmas spirit, especially so close to Halloween, because y'all are cringing on Halloween too much. It did do that for me.
Yeah.
All right,
Be
so
well
we will see you all next time. Thank you.
#SetLife.